Hello everybody, it's Captain Marty Brill, Tuesday, July the 29th, as we're dealing with some really hot weather and some fairly typical fishing for this time of year. I'll bring you up to date on everything that's happening on the outer and inner banks when I come back in just a moment.
Real. That's the first word that comes to mind when I think about Outland Seafood in Mans Harbor. Yeah, they're the first and last place you see coming to and leaving the Outer Banks on Highway 64 in Dare County, but they're also real when it comes to fresh local seafood. Troy Outland, real. Curtis and Josh, real. The indoor crab shedders, real. Stop by and see for yourself right next to White Shopping Center and check them out on social media. Outland Seafood in Mans Harbor, real.
Teachers Lair Marina in Hatteras Village is the closest spot on the Outer Banks to the Gulf Stream. Just inside Hatteras Inlet, Teachers Lair is fully loaded with bait, tackle, ice, snacks, and drinks for your fun-filled day out on the water. Want to get rigged up to catch the big one? Lee and the gang in the tackle shop can outfit you to catch whatever is eager to get hooked. To see the marina, the tackle shop, or to book a charter, go online to teacheslair.com. Teachers Lair Marina in Hatteras Village. Your fishing venture awaits.
We always start out with our offshore stuff, so we want to keep in mind. Right now, as I mentioned in the introduction, it's just really picky fishing, typical for this time of year on all fronts. The bite that is going on, it's not really a bite, but the largest population of noteworthy and newsworthy fish is back in the Pamlico Sound. And the sound literally is full in some areas of tarpon. Big, good old 100-pound tarpon. Had a friend that caught a 100-pounder the other day. Now, seeing them is one thing, catching them is something else. There's definitely something you're going to have to put in some time, but we'll get back to that in a minute. Down in Hatteras, good dolphin fishing. Jesse Anderson, the Carolina girl, longtime sponsor of mine. A really good day on dolphin or mahi today. Mostly bailers, meaning they were like 3 to 6 pounds. Yesterday she had the tuna. Today she had the dolphin. And the fleet down there, everybody around her dock and also down at Teachers Lair Marina, Odin's dock, they all had good dolphin fishing. There was a few wahoo, a few blackfin tunas, some scattered billfish. The chaser had a blue marlin and 2 sailfish down there. So pretty much what we would call typical summer fare. Blues and Spanish a little bit near to the inlet. The Oregon Inlet fleet almost identical, except that they had really good dolphin fishing as well, with many boats getting limits of the bailers. Their tuna were yellowfin tuna, not many of them, but a few, maybe 2 to 4 average to the boat. But you put 4 50-pound tunas and 60 dolphin on the dock, maybe a single wahoo and a couple flags in the rigger. These guys in Hatteras and Oregon Inlet are picking out a pretty decent day. Oregon Inlet is mostly blue marlin and sailfish. We are hoping and praying that the white marlin will move back down. They've moved way up off New England again. But thankfully we have the blues and sails, as we have another tournament coming up here in about 2 weeks. 2 weeks and 3 days, which will be the Pirates Cove Big Game Tournament. Inshore for the Oregon Inlet fleet, I call them the opportunist, Spanish mackerel, bluefish, moonfish, and amberjacks. This ain't your daddy's inshore boat. These young lions, they're out there, and they really put a lot of effort into catching everything. It could be anything from a cobia to a king mackerel to the traditional Spanish mackerel and blues, bottom fishing for sea bass and tiles, both in Hatteras and in Oregon Inlet. The nearshore crews really have broadened the horizons for that type of fishing. You can do most of that in a half a day, so it's a great way to kind of get a crew used to being out in the ocean. Pier and surf fishing, nothing to write home about. It's typical, again, summertime fare, a little bit scratchy, a lot of variety, just not a lot of numbers. An example, Jeanette's Pier had banded rudderfish. I don't think I've ever talked about banded rudderfish. Don't hardly know what they are, but jacks, they had some jack crevalle, some sea bass, some croakers, some Spanish mackerel, and a few blues. And the surf fishing, pretty much the same species, although they had a pretty good bite on Spanish and pompano down in Avon from the surf. But bluefish and Spanish mackerel are what's driving that fishery, surf and pier right now. And with our air temperatures in the 90s, you definitely need to be on the beach fishing at first light and at last light. Middle of the day, the doldrums set in, and there just isn't much going on. So we'll take a little break right here, and I'll come back to talk a little bit more about the tarpon fishing and other things going on in the backcountry.
Come and experience fishing for the whole family aboard the Crystal Dawn at Pirates Cove Marina in Manio. The Crystal Dawn is a roomy 65-foot headboat, fully equipped with the latest gear to give you the best fishing experience. Worried about getting seasick? Fear not. The Crystal Dawn stays in safer and shallower waters to lessen the likelihood of that happening. Half-day and private fishing trips are available. To find out more, go online to crystaldawnheadboat.com. The Crystal Dawn Headboat out of Pirates Cove. Fishing that is fun for all ages.
So as I mentioned, there's a pretty decent tarpon bite, and they don't even have to be very secretive about it because they are so hard to catch. And then when you do go out there and see them rolling all on top, it's almost impossible to catch them when you can see them. You got to know where those areas are and fish for them when you can't see them primarily. And some people, you might side cast to them, but a lot of this is done on live bait, live croakers, or live blue crabs, things like that. There's also still a good drum bite going on late afternoon when it cools down a little bit into the evening and twilight. Some big drums, some 40 inchers being caught in the Pamlico out on the shoals. Speckled trout fishing seems to have slowed down a little bit. And there's still a good number of bluefish and sheephead kind of rounded out some catches in the backcountry. So that's really the long and the short of our fishing report for today. Not going to waste a lot of airtime, talking about minute details that aren't really important. The best thing is, remember, fish early, or late. Make sure your bait is the freshest bait as possible. In other words, frozen bait only if it's a last resort. And don't forget to shop at your local tackle shops who will give you local knowledge at no charge, and their tackle, bait, and supplies are more competitively priced than you think, meaning compared to a big box store. So support the local economy and help feed our families, and go have a great day. You know what? You're not going to catch them in the motel room. God bless you and have a great day.